Hey guys, it's your boy, Don't Mad Apollo. Uh, Back at it again. I'm not doing all that. Anyways, what's up? Um, so today or tonight, wherever you are, I am about to talk about like the furry pipeline. Let's get it. So before we go any further, let me tell you all about just like a brief snippet about myself. I'm a junior at a college in the United States. So this pipeline, this furry pipeline begins in the summer before my junior year. I mean, no, excuse me, the summer before my freshman year. Like the summer before I moved in to my college campus. I wanted to make that clear. Now, one day I'm playing this first person shooter with my IRL friends called Friends versus Friends. Now, the premise of Friends versus Friends is that all of these anthropomorphic animals are shooting at each other and blowing each other up with using these special cards that, gives each other, you know, give the, user special attacks. Even crazier and crazier moves to, shoot each other, blow each other, just, general mayhem. Now, in between these matches that I'm playing with my friends, notice a art gallery in the lobby. I go into that lobby and excuse me, I go into that art gallery and I just browse the art and I'm thinking, wow, this art looks beautiful. And on some of the art, I see Twitter handles. So I go onto Twitter and I pull up these artists and I look at their art some more. And I'm like, wow, this is really, really beautiful. I like looking at this. Like, and mind you, I know that all these artists are furry artists, right? Furry artists, draw furry art. I'm looking at furry art. Now, I start going down a rabbit hole so I can, find more art. So I find more furry artists, and so I learned that, they draw, like furry comics, furry dramas, gay furries, lesbian furries, queer furries, whole bunch of stuff. Naturally, furries are queer, but then even further down into that rabbit hole, I find furry pornography, which is, okay, that's natural. Like furry artist, any artist, would draw pornography at some point, or no, usually it depends on the artist. Anyway, I find furry pornography, and I'm like, okay, some of this stuff is normal, but then along the way, I see more and more intense and insane and crazy and just bonkers stuff. Some characters, get inflated to like balloons, like incredibly big balloons. Some of them are like really chunky, to say the least. Some characters eat other characters whole, like snakes, like how an anaconda would swallow a deer whole in their jungle. And I'm like, wow, this is very interesting for me to look at. I'm like taking psychic damage at this by just by the act of looking at this. But like, I'm not deterred at all. So, I keep on going down that rabbit hole, but not for too long. I mean, it's obviously not healthy to stare at like devices for too long. So, uh, I proceed. I keep on going down that rabbit hole from day after day after day, but in moderation. So, I notice a trend within myself that like, I'm actually like interested in like the furry community. Now, this fact will be important for me when I move to my college campus, because on my college campus there was a club fair, and at that club fair I find people in fursuits, so I'm like, whoa, furries, and I found out that there's a furry club at my school. So from there I start interacting with that furry club. For my at least for my first semester until the end, because after around that point I started managing and running some other clubs, so that took my attention away from it. I might come back to it in my senior year, but I feel like it was important for me to learn that furries don't just exist on the internet strictly. They exist IRL, and that was a good thing for me to learn. In that furry club, when we first when that furry club had its first real meeting, I attended it and I found out that all these people were just people I would just see every day on on the street. Some of the most normal people you can expect to see. Uh, sure, like some of them were pretty eccentric. Most of them were like visibly queer, but they were all really good people. They all treated me well, and I enjoyed hanging around them. And through them, I learned of a furry convention that I could have went to for spring break my second semester um of school. I could have went to it, and I could have took my brother, but like I got like cold feet or cold paws, sort of because of like the ticket prices. They were like $75 a piece, and I was gonna buy a ticket for my brother so I can get him to go along with me. But in the end, it just didn't happen. But I still want to go to a furry convention someday. Now, uh, after that, after missing that or choosing not to go to that furry convention, I just decided to make my own, you know, just explore more outside of just Twitter. So a little while, I decided to try and design my own quote unquote persona. My persona is a striped capybara named Melon. And when I say striped capybara, I mean like he's striped like a watermelon, and that's how he got his name Melon. So when I came up with the concept, I found a certain artist that I really liked that was taking commissions. They gave me a good price, and you know, payment went through. A couple days later, I get a something called a reference sheet of Melon, and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. My son looks beautiful. I actually think I like to think of Melon as my son, because I came up with him. So Melon actually sort of helped me, just explore the furry community. Of course, I'm still not actually interacting with any of the furry community online because I'm not sure at this point at that point that was just like a year ago. That was like actually last summer. But like I'm not sure at that point I actually identified as a furry or not yet. And I'm still not sure if I do now, but uh I'd say a couple months after that, I come up with the concept of another character, and that next character is a Qilin, otherwise a Chinese unicorn. That Qilin's name is Fortune, and Fortune is kind of like designed to be a diva, trying to kind of gender ambiguous unicorn, or excuse me, Qilin, because I mean I know that like Qilins look uh pretty different from Western unicorns. Anyways, I get another character designed. Uh, I send my reference image to the commissioner, and it comes out looking like brand spanking beautiful. And I'm like, wow, I really really like this. And then I continue to just browse the I still just continue to just observe the furry community. I still don't interact with them even after like I got that second persona drawn. but it's like I'm learning a whole lot of interesting, new, and possibly even fun stuff that I might want to partake in later on in my life. Now, after I get that second persona drawn, I get this really brilliant idea. So, those same friends that introduced me to Friends versus Friends the summer before my freshman year at my college, I tell them about what I've been, doing with the whole furry community, and surprisingly enough, they seem like the responses I've been getting them from them have been like, positive, all positive responses. And earlier this summer, I decided to buy my friends Atlas. Atlas was on sale for maybe like $5. I buy it for, three of my friends, $15, fun for the whole family. Because, I had been saving up money for a while, and this was, like dirt cheap. Eh, Like it seemed really fun, and so my close friends play Atlas. We all play Atlas together. We all have a great time. Uh, like we've played it for like I'd say maybe like 4, 5, 6 sessions. I'm hoping that I can get them to play later on this year. But we all had a great time. Like we all designed our characters. Like Atlas is like it's definitely like I don't know, but like I designed this character, um this character's name is Two Bird, like from like 2B from Near Automata, like those Yorha androids. Like Atlas gives you so much creative freedom in creating your own character. It's just pretty much like designing your own character, like as a furry. I again, I can't stress enough that I'm not sure if I'm a furry or not, a full-fledged furry. I might be a proto furry that can't like can't admit it yet, but like I just don't see myself as a furry. I don't want to identify as a furry just yet, because I know for a fact that I'm not like making B-wares or my making like 20-page Google Docs about people. I'm not really invested in like furry YouTubers drama or furry femboys, gay furries and such. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm not even sure if I could consider myself queer like that either. I know that it's not necessarily like a job requirement. Being a furry is not a job requirement. I know that. But and I'm not really concerned about fitting in. It's just that like if I said if I just went out one day and said I'm a furry, they would I know that a whole bunch of labels would be stuck onto me by just saying I'm a furry like that. So I'm just like pretty on the fence, but I already know that my close friends are keeping a like they're doing something like keeping a close eye on me. Let's say that. They're like when I say one day, okay guys, I admit it, I really am a furry. They'll be like, okay, we're not surprised because you've been soft launching this shit for the past couple months. But what else do I want to mention? But yeah, that's the furry pipeline up until today. I really don't think I'm not sure. Okay, maybe okay, if I ever okay, so, like I don't think I would announce that I am a furry if I do commit to it, like, coming out as a furry. It's not like coming out. It's like announcing it like, okay, I'm a furry, but this is a hobby. It's a new hobby. I don't want to come out as one. It just feels wrong. Coming like it's not like coming out as a gay. It's like announcing a hobby. That is what being a furry is. It's a hobby. You do it for fun. I'm having fun exploring the furry community. It's definitely tons of fun. I would like to keep on going through it, but I'm just not sure at this time if I'm actually a real furry or not, and I'm not sure if I want to be. Maybe I think just being known amongst my friends as somebody is who is interested in furry culture is enough. Anyways, that's the end of my little yap sesh. If I decide to, do make a part two to this video, I'm probably gonna have to make a script because I'm not the most reliable narrator, and I did, go off on some tangents. So oh, and I'm also doing all of this in one take. So thank you to those that did take the time to watch this. Um, all that smarmy stuff. Uh, yeah, I'm out. Peace.